All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to another Magi Monday. Mama Bear Mare, you ready to sing it out? It's just
Oh,
another Magi Monday.
whoa, whoa.
We're getting there. We're getting there, people. Well, welcome back, beautiful souls, and welcome to Magi Monday, where we are here today to talk about the card of spiritual love, the Seven of Hearts. Now, before we get into the meaning of the Seven of Hearts, let me just give a little bit of grounding. First of all, welcome. Everybody who is brand new to this channel, my name is Andrea Blythe, and I am the traveling magi of Let Love Rise, and I am joined with Mama Bear Mare. Give a whoop.
Mama Mare, good morning, everybody.
The mini magi.
The mini magi.
And,
Right.
and we're here every week to this year to talk about the cards of the Magi card science system, which we commonly know as playing cards. And this spring season, we have kicked things off with the season of the heart, because in the Magi, the heart is the representative of the spring season. And that's all about love and relationships and foundations and home. And so the overlay of the symbology of the suit combined with the numerology of the card number. Today we're here to talk about the spiritual seven, which we'll get to in a minute. And then the astrological placement is how this system works. What we have commonly used for Go Fish and poker is really an ancient book of prophetic wisdom. And so I am here as your guide to help you understand how these cards lay out guidance for you through your soul roadmap. But first, we want to talk about the energy of the Seven of Hearts. And there are people who are born based on the solar energy of their birthday with the Seven of Hearts as their birth card, because all birthdays in this system, this whole system is based on the solar energy of your birthday. And all of those connect scientifically, mathematically to a specific card. And then there's a secondary card, your planetary ruling card. So you can have it as your birth card or your planetary ruling card. But let's just go ahead and get things started with birthdays, Mama Bear. What are the
Birthdays.
birthdays
Okay.
of the Seven of Hearts? I know one off the top of my head because it's my dad.
Okay, so we have September 30th,
Woo woo, that's my
November,
dad.
woohoo, Dad, November 26th, October 28th, December 24th.
There
Those
we
are the
go. So those are the four heart birthdays. People born again on September 30th, October 28th, November 26th, and December 24th. You might also see a pattern there. These numbers move from the 30th to the 28th to the 26th to the 4th. This is a very scientific, it's where science and spirituality meet. So as we already talked about, like the heart where it's all about love, energy, and how we show up in relationships. And it also has a lot to do with our home and our foundations. Now, the sevens are a fascinating number. They are considered a spiritual number. There's all kinds of like, I'm going to geek out for just a minute. All right.
Please, please do. Love when
Please
you
do.
geek
Let's
out.
geek out. It's time to geek out because we just had a weekend together celebrating my 52nd birthday, right? So let's
Whoop,
start with a five and a two. A five and two, 52. First of all, there are 52 cards in a deck. There are how many weeks in a year, Mama Bear Mare?
52.
52, and 5 plus 2 is a 7 in numerology. So the number 52, when we talk about 52 in and of itself, like the deck of cards, is a very spiritual number. Now, each suit has 13 cards in the suit, from the ace to the king. And what number falls right in the middle of that?
Between the eight. Don't do that. The
Don't do
six.
that to me. It's too early. The seven falls right in the middle. You have ace to six. You're like,
Mm.
I was not expecting math this morning.
I'm reading. I'm like, huh? What?
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. That's why sevens are really powerful numbers, because they say that a seven has one foot in the mundane or earthly realms, the everyday life, and one foot in the spiritual realms, because it falls right in the middle. The ace to the six pull it down into like this earthly form. It's who we are, how we are making sense of life on planet Earth. And then the numbers eight through the king are bringing you up to that spiritual realm and back to where from
Mhm.
where we came. So the seven falling right in the middle has this balance between it. It often dips high and low. And so with love, perhaps a seven of hearts person can feel very elated. You know that feeling when you are just walking on sunshine, when like life is good, everything around you, you got a spring in your step, like right? That's the high side
Yep.
of
Yes.
the seven. And then all the tragic love songs that we pour our eyes out to. Like, what are your favorite tragic love? What's your favorite go-to cry your eyes out heartbreak song? I would love for anybody to comment on if they have a go-to. Do you have one, Mare? I probably have so
Uh,
many off the top of my head.
Probably. They're
Yeah.
more of the angry love songs, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're
Well,
not so sad.
those work as well.
Mm.
Definitely. But it's the highs and the highs and the lows and the lows. And seven people in across, whether you're a heart, a club, a diamond, or a spade, a seven number swings high and swings low. That is just part of their essence is that 1 foot between both worlds, both realms. And so it's learning how to balance that. And really the challenge of the Seven of Hearts person, as seen through their Eight of Hearts karma card, which is a very powerful card and we'll talk about that next week. But the Eight of Hearts is like emotional power. Being their first karma card, Seven of Hearts people, it's possible that they are working through some karma in this life that has to do with a balancing of power, perhaps having been abusive in love power dynamics in previous lives, as indicated by that really powerful Eight of Hearts card. So those are some of the essences of the Seven of Hearts. Really, it is all about when we think about the cards and why they're helpful and how they've helped me. I literally say like rise from the ashes of my life. These cards have helped me because they're guideposts. They indicate the energy that's flowing to you, and they show you ways that you can interact with that on the high side. That's really the work that I like to do. Is like, of course, I can point out the low side. The low side of the Seven of Hearts is codependency, is
Mm.
really needing that other person. Like
For clingy, yeah.
I'm seeing Jerry Maguire. You,
Oh God.
yeah. It's like that
That
might have been
killed it.
like we might have all been, you had me at hello, and it's so romantic, but nobody is designed to complete you, right? We
Amen, sister.
Amen. Can I get a woo woo?
Woo, woo.
Right? Like we need to complete ourselves. We need to be whole and right and secure and like have a real sense of who we are. And then another person can come in a very unattached way. Like in a detached see, this is where it gets tricky, and we had lots of conversations about this weekend. We celebrated Beltane. Some of us, there were 8 of us that went on retreat together, and one of the conversations that came up again and again is this conversation of love and how we show up in love relationships, and how much can you attach and yet remain detached. And I really think that that is what like the Seven of Hearts is guiding us all towards, is like um how can we remain both, right? Like you
Right.
and do you understand what I mean by like
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, because like I will take my relationship currently right now with my
yep.
husband. We were super codependent because that's what we
Mhm.
knew. That's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
And now in this stage in our life where we're just kind of we're honoring each other's passions and
Yeah.
we're not detaching from our outcome. We're just staying in the moment and living in the moment and letting the things that want to come to life in us, we let them because that is an unconditional love. That is what unconditional love is.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. It's I really like what you said, like being fully present in the moment, like right now. Right now, you can give fully. to the person that
Hmm.
you're with. Or, and if you're not with, if you don't have a partner, or if you're seeking a partner, be fully with yourself and in your self-love journey. And then the detachment, like, so you can attach in, like, I am in this with you, right?
Right.
Whatever it is, and I can see you fully for who you are, and I'm going to honor you fully for who you are and what you need right now. And I'm going to detach from, I really just want to say it again, like this, oh, I'm going to say the patriarchal society in which we've been raised to believe that when we love someone and we commit to them, that we are committed and attached for the
Hmm.
rest of our lives, right? Until death do us part. And
Ball and chain. Hmm.
perhaps that is the way that your love story will unfold. For most of us, as indicated by the divorce rate, that is
Hmm.
not how we are designed because we are evolutionary beings of growth and change. And so to be fully present with a person and know when it's okay to say, like, we have journeyed together as far as we are meant to journey. We have learned what we were meant to learn from another. And now I love you enough to set you free to be on your journey. And I love myself enough that I am going to go on this journey because sometimes we we grow in different ways and at different times. Sometimes we can support one another through that, give each other space and be in that. But I really like this idea of detaching from that long-term vision. You know, I go back to thinking about my relationship, my first marriage, my only marriage. Um, and that marriage, you know, like I of course we said our vows, and now until forever is actually what we vowed. It's like we didn't know what we were doing, right? I was 27 years old getting married, but you have this vision that I'm going to commit to this one person and it is going to be forever, and we attach to forever. And I think that the Seven of Hearts is like, hold on, detach from that concept of forever because it puts so much strain on a relationship. And then I know that I felt like a total failure. I felt like I failed in love
So
when the
did I. Yeah.
happened. And you've
Yeah.
been through a divorce as well. Did you feel the same way?
Oh, yes. Not only failing, my husband, but the idea of what a marriage should be, and then failing my children. And yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then all the people who came to support you, and then like, right? You're just like, you could go on
Yeah.
and on to how we feel like a failure when really it's an honoring of the fact that our love story has run its course and we're on to something else. So like detaching from
Hmm.
the need for it to be this one particular prescribed way, which really we know was enforced to keep women in their
Hmm.
place, subservient to the man. And I am going to leave that at that and not continue to touch it. But this idea of detachment. This is when I'd like to talk a little bit about where it shows up because what we've been talking about primarily is the essence of this card, but we all have a soul roadmap that is based on our birthday. So I just got a new one. Just looking into my soul roadmap for the year ahead. And before I do that, like last year, which again just completed a couple days ago, one of my long range cards, and a long range card is one of your top 5 cards that you get on your birthday that are year long influences. So we have the year long influences, and then here we go back with the number 7. We have 7 52-day planetary periods that go through the planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So we have 7 planetary periods where we can have those cards, or we have the 5 headline news. Most of us have 5, some have 3. Um, yeah. So one of mine was the Seven of Hearts last year, which I knew was very much about me breaking free from my attachments to love. Because there's also, I'm thinking of the Alanis song, that I would be good. And one of the things she said, that I would be good even if I'm clingy, right? Like clingy is a part of, like, we're attaching, but in attaching in a when we're clinging, it feels like there's an element of fear, right? Like I'm
Hmm.
clean, like
Right.
I'm
That's
like, please don't go, right? And I know on the other side of my marriage, when it dissolved and I started dating again, there is this fear of attach or of like somebody leaving you again. I think a lot of us have that.
hmm. Oh,
So yeah. Yeah, and so I know that part of that seven of hearts for me throughout the year was talking about letting go, letting go, and having how I could be differently on the more spiritual side of love versus this really earthly clinging. I need you, like I need you. You know, there's like this neediness in, but it's the neediness that's attached with fear. So that was what I have been spending, oh, a good year, if not more, working on letting that go. And now but it is back in my roadmap this year as my Mars card for the year. So in a couple of months, it'll show up and play a more prominent role. And one thing to note about that is because my dad is a seven of hearts person. So it can also be, you know, last year as that long range card, my dad could have been someone who was a lot on my mind or who I had a lot of communications with. And then in my Mars period, it could indicate that my dad's going to play a prominent role for me at that time, or anybody of that card, whether it's their birth card or their planetary ruling card, or else it's just going to be a period of time again where it's like, all right, girl, let's go back through this. Like, did you really get that non-attachment?
mm,
Attachment, but non-attachment. Attachment in a way like I'm in this right now, right?
right.
Right now.
Right.
Uh, I wrote a story in my 51st year on Let Love Rise on the blog. I'm gonna pull it up. I think it was called Ho'oponopono. I know it had something to do with Ho'oponopono, but I had recently I was gonna say that I've been dumped. And I mean, that's what it is. What was it called? Ho'oponopono and impermanence. Let me see if I can pull this up. Ho'oponopono and impermanence. And this really has to do with the Seven of Hearts because I think it is the best example of what I was going through and trying to understand this this prayer of the impermanence is that nothing stays the same forever. Like that is not how it is, how it's meant to, how we're meant to evolve through life. And truly, our relationships with others is the most powerful way that our soul grows in this lifetime is
Mhm.
through relationship. And it can be with your most intimate relationship, but of course, your family relationships, your friendships. We see a reflection of ourselves in others. And maybe I'll just read you. Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for can we do a little storytelling this morning?
Story time. There you go.
Story
That's my
time.
song.
So again, and this is from the original blog, Let Love Rise, where I didn't know when I started writing for this blog that it would transform my entire life and would eventually help me take that leap of faith into a work that is more aligned for me right now at this point. So I haven't read this in a minute, as we were talking on the drive home yesterday about this idea of attachment, non-attachment, seven of hearts, where how do we grapple with this idea of like, how do we fully show up and fully give ourselves to another person or to a relationship
Mhm.
and also like not get clingy, not be like, you complete me. Right. So this little section of Ho'oponopono and impermanence is called reflective mirrors and two docks. Other people are our reflective mirrors in life. Along with our life circumstances, relationships show us how we're doing, how our healing is progressing, how much self-love we allow ourselves to experience, how abundant our mindset is, how trusting we are in our self-worth. It's been 4 years since my divorce was finalized, and along my road to healing with my Nine of Hearts as my soul growth guide, I have met many reflective mirrors. Most recently, here we go, I'm gonna go into the breakup. I was dating someone with whom I have an incredible triple moon Jupiter connection. The energetic flow between us has been so supportive, balanced, easy, and fun. However, My four of spades happens to be his Pluto card for the year. Needless to say, a relationship quickly became too intense for him, and he has to step away in order to face his dark night of the soul. In turn, the heartbreaking and sudden loss of this beautiful connection is having me face my Pluto card once again. So I'm talking about the Nine of Hearts here. That is my lifetime Pluto card. That loss that I'm grieving falls right in the midst of the eclipse season. And I know it's a painful nudge, is clearing out old, unhealthy love patterns. I'm being called to complete the pattern of codependency. And again, that's that low side of the Seven of Hearts. To release my Four of Spades Taurian desire for stability above all else. To trust what is happening is for my best and highest good. And then I put in the Ho'oponopono prayer, but where's the part about the decks? While at the lake house from which I write this post-eclipse reflection, I've been pondering on the two docks on either side of this house. On the left, and there's pictures of this on the blog, there's a wooden dock that's broken and sinking into the waters, and that dock is the picture for this post. And on the right, there's a strong, sturdy metal dock with a ski boat attached to it. If relationships are reflective mirrors, I've been hanging out on the wrong dock. Do you get me on that? Have you ever hung out on the wrong dock?
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I desire to meet a partner who will dance with me on a strong, sturdy dock, set off into the sunset ride in the boat. Yes, I said, that is the direction I've headed. I've thought to myself over these past few days. And then, just this morning, I am literally watching that metal dock being dismantled for wintertime in permanence. After 2 days of thinking, yes, I want to be on the metal dock, I sit here and watch it coming undone before my eyes. Like I've literally never in my life seen a dock be dismantled. I was just tripping. I was like, you have got to be kidding me right now. Like I had been meditating all these days on these docks, and then I found myself already like clinging and attaching to that dock and that idea. And it just says Pluto directs us all to stop resisting, to start allowing, flow with the changing times and with my partner's need, detach from the concept of the dock, allow the change of season to come, bless and release the relationships that have served as stepping stones to that divine union of love. I said the Nine of Hearts guides me forward. But yeah, I,
I love that story. I love that. I don't want the story for you. I love the way you're right, number one, but just having that now right smack in front of your
oh
face
gosh,
is just,
it was almost like comical, like because it was so painful. We had just come home from Teotihuacan, Mexico.
mhm,
We were on this spiritual high, coming from these sacred lands and then entering back into, so again, like that is another way to think about it. Like we were in this love vibration frequency if you have never been on retreat with a powerful group of women who are doing intentional work to know themselves better, to love themselves better. First of all, I invite you to the Rising of the Warrior Goddesses, which you can read about also on my blog. That is happening over Labor Day weekend in Shasta, California. But we had come from this really high spiritual place of love and then coming back, into your regular lives and then just being like, dumped with no explanation and then go and then see these docs and then think I've got it all figured out. I know because that is really, really important is for us to look at the stories, look at our life experiences and pull out and extract, well, what did this serve for me? What is this showing me? What is this teaching me? What am I supposed to learn from this? And how can I help it grow me
mhm.
into a more confident, loving person who is able to show up more fully in relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seven of Hearts. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, thank you for indulging me with a little storytelling from Let Love Rise. If you would like more stories about how the cards have helped me the as a guidance system, you'll see a shift in the blog and they start to incorporate these cards as a part of understanding the guidance as I started to understand how these cards are guiding me and all of us more and more. So you and I both have in our roadmaps this year the Seven of
Hmm.
Hearts, and we both have it in Mars. So when you think about Mars, we'll just wrap it up with this little side topic of Mars. What are some of the words that come to you when you think about the planet Mars? Or and how
Um,
it, like and how it relates to us here on Earth, like what it because all the planets carry symbology or they have an essence and energy behind them when they are active in the world.
I think of fire, but
Yeah.
in a good way. It's either
Mhm.
gonna it fires you up,
Mhm.
passion, but then anger
Yes.
and resentment and like all, yeah, just that it's everything that comes from that deep within that
Yeah.
just wants to get out.
Right.
Or
And there are two right? Like it'll either yeah, it can be very fiery, angry, yeah, aggressive, mean-spirited, like rah, kind of energy, or it can be transformed into passion and gives you that fire to create, to do, to produce, to, whatever it is. It can give you that fiery passion and anger. And both you and I have strong Aries in our chart, and Mars is the ruler of the zodiac sign Aries. It is also the ruler for all of you Scorpios out there. It is your ruling card. So I think that that's interesting that you and I both have this connection to the planet Mars in our birth charts, and then we see it, both of us having it in this Mars period. So neither of us, we're both in our Mercury period. You're about to
right.
enter your Venus period, your birthday a couple weeks before mine. Uh,
Hmm.
but it'll like this is one of those things where you see, okay, there's going to be guidance here about and pulling us back into understanding our how we show up in relationships. What is our relationship to attachment, non-attachment, to codependency? Are we leaning into code? Are we finding ourselves repeating patterns of codependency, or are we pulling ourselves detaching from that and um, tapping into the higher octave of love?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Detached
I will
attachment.
say it every single episode, but I really, the roadmap is so important because, like you said, it's not coming for me until July,
Yeah.
but I have time to open myself to it and be more aware. And
Yeah.
I mean, you just need a
Yeah. And
map. I
just
mean,
see.
everybody needs a
Yeah.
map.
Exactly. And you got hearts all over your roadmap, girl. But yes, and that's exactly what it is. It's just giving you a heads up. This is part of what your soul is growing through this year. And there are lots more indications that it can point out depending on what your underlying card is and all of that. So if you're curious about what your birth cards are, or what the cards have in store for you this year based on your soul roadmap. There is a link always to meet me on a clarity call or just to sign up for a soul roadmap reading. I would love to share this wisdom with you, see how it resonates with you, because this card, like the Seven of Hearts card, every single one of us is trying to figure out on this planet, like how do we love in the best and highest good in a way that feels really good for ourselves, but also really loving of our partners. And when the tower crumbles, when relationships fade away and fall away, let them, let
Hmm.
them. And then go back and catch the glimpses. What did it teach me so that in my next relationship, I know myself better, I love myself better, and then I can love another better. And that is really what the Seven of Hearts wants to lift us up. All sevens want to lift us towards the higher side. It is one of the most distinctive cards of, you could feel it if you're swinging low. So again, like those power ballad love songs, I'm going to go back to Alanis. Like you ought to know, like that is like,
Oh, yeah.
that's Mars energy right there.
Big time. Big
Um, Oh my goodness, there's so many songs that I have cried my eyes out. If I think of another good one, I'll put it in the comments. But please share your favorite low side Seven of Hearts, cry your eyeballs out. And then also like the Walking on Sunshine songs when you are in the fullness of your love, and just remembering that we all have the capacity. We are designed to be connective creatures in union with another or others. That is part of our design because we learn through the best learning that takes place is in relationship with others because we are all connected and we are all helping each other on our soul journey. And also, there are so many ways that we can see our connections in the roadmap. So if you're curious to know also about your relationship with another person, I do as well. I do couples soul roadmap readings and explain your connections in this life and in previous lives, and how to best use your energy to work together to create the love that you desire.
Highly recommend that one.
Yes,
Highly recommend that one.
yes,
If you're in a relationship. Yes, absolutely.
absolutely. All right, Mama Bear Mare. Well, thank you as always for just being a reflective mirror with me as we reflect on the essence of the Magi and how to use it in and help other people understand this system. It is, I mean, how long in my life have I said, man, I wish I just had a guidance system or a roadmap? And it's like, oh, dun dun dun
I
dun.
said that forever. If there's just a little roadmap,
Yeah.
boom, there is.
There is, and it is called playing cards or the Magi card science system. Again, scientifically calculated to you based on the date of your birth and the solar energy that that date carries. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. I'm sure
So
there's
fast.
more to say about the Seven of Hearts, but for now, I think that's a wrap. So we will see you back here next week for another Magi Monday. Eight
Whoa, whoa.
of
I'm gonna do
Hearts.
it. I really will. I'll surprise you one day.
I heard this girl sing this weekend. Don't be surprised. I mean, be surprised. I'm like, wait, you can sing.
Sober.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy the content, if you think that it'll resonate with others, we appreciate you subscribing to this channel, sharing it with others, and letting the ripples waft out.
Love that. I love that. Boom.
All right.
Go off.
To love and joy in the journey. See you back here next week for Magi Monday, the Eight of Hearts.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.